Hello, viewers. I'm glad you're here today. I'm at the Yellow Farmhouse Education Center in Stonington, Connecticut, and today is the fermenTour. It's a beverage fermentation tour of nearby attractions. So I hope to learn something, and this should be fun. So let's see what happens. It all starts off with fermentation discussion and samples from Rich Shih, author of Koji Alchemy, and Harry Rosenblum, author of Vinegar Revival. I just want to give you an idea of the experience. I don't want to be the YouTuber that got in the way of the other participants' experience, so I did not video everything. But I really do want to show you the samples.
Feel free, cups are right here.
So fermented cabbage was used for a long time on ships to prevent scurvy. They would pack barrels of sauerkraut. What it does for us, aside from flavor, is obviously the acid is a preservative. It also helps break down the cell walls.
Tasting that makes sense. So if you haven't already tasted the koji, you should probably taste that first. Okay. So I would recommend sort of the small, tiny brown bit that has the leaves sticking on it, and that's a dochi, which is a more complex like bean paste that is made in the Chinese method. So they do it a completely different way than the Japanese, and it's a lot more unctuous. The purplish one. So this one's interesting because we had an event 2 years ago where a chef made sticky toffee pudding with the dochi, which is different dochi, and we had a ton of extra. So I took that, added plums, and then I added koji to it, like a corn koji that I made. And I made sort of like I don't know if you're familiar with like umeboshi. It's similar to like so it's sort of like a umami umeboshi. And then I would say the next thing to eat is the cookie in the middle, and my friend Kuro can describe it.
Sure. So we went for lunch with Rich, and we had some leftovers from lunch, which was like noodles and pastries and a lot of things. And then I made a miso with those leftovers, and then I made cookies with that miso. So that's what you're eating in that cookie.
So we used miso as sort of the salt and the caramelization complexity factor. So there's not a lot of it in there, but they're like dumplings in there, right?
Yeah, like dumplings, stock, noodles.
Yeah. So like, it's to think about things in a wider sense, like, leftovers. The bartender was squeezing a whole bunch of lemons, and then throwing away the lemon peels. And then I took the lemon peels, mixed them with koji and salt, let them cure for like a few weeks. And then I just added some honey to it. So that's another characteristic that you can say, oh, well, this wasted thing is a pretty wonderful thing now that would be great for like dipping that cookie in, or, in a vinaigrette or something. So these are the kind of adventurous things that you can do, but you can do some things that are very simply what you already know, like soy sauce. My friend made this, and it's super delicious.
It is a lacto/yeast ferment of sweet potatoes and other things. This batch is some grated sweet potatoes, some mango peels, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, and a little bit of whey from yogurt in it. This particular batch is very young. I only started it on Tuesday morning, and I put some in this bottle yesterday, and it has a little bit of like effervescence, just a tiny little bit. It's very thick. You add sugar and water.
Now we take the yellow school bus to lunch at the Oyster Club in Mystic.
The chef is prepared with bok choy kimchi that we made in-house from our sister farm, Stone Acres Farm in Stonington. There's also pork belly and pork stock. from Wild Harmony Farms in Rhode Island. Lots of gochujang to give it a little kick on this chilly day, and raw shiitake, sesame, and scallion. Fermented gooseberries, lightly dehydrated fermented blueberries, and just a little bit of pistachio cranberry bread.
Thank you. We're going to head over to Veritable Distillery. We'll get a behind-the-scenes tour of everything they have going on over there, which they have some pretty interesting things.
So that's a brewery, this is a distillery, two totally different processes. They both use this, which is our mash tun. This is where we make the grain tea. Super healthy. All those bubbles.
How long has that been in there?
Yeah, second day.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Holy moly.
So they're very famous for making beautiful stills, and so this is really, I look at this and just think it's industrial art. It really is. What we intentionally did here is we built a library of different types of wooden barrels. So over here, everybody grab a beer.
Grab a beer.
This is our Oktoberfest.
This is the Pilsner.
Oh, the Pils.
Yeah, start with the Pilsner, we'll do the October.
You guys have some?
This aroma is really amazing. It's the best. Now it's time for the final stop, the Grey Sail Brewing Company, which is in the former Westerly Macaroni building.
Way back in the day, they were making macaroni here. Since then, it's been a number of things. Before it was the brewery, it was a Napa auto parts store. Real quick, we'll get down on the floor, show you guys some of the vessels and the tanks and take you through the process. When we're done fermenting the beer, which in our case usually takes about 2 weeks, we transfer it overhead. We used to have to run hoses on the floors, but we put in this system where these stainless steel pipes, we can just set up our transfer rig right here, send it overhead and onto the other side of the building where the canvas is. So it was awesome, but at the same time, we were like,
Special thanks to Matt and Eric of Yellow Farmhouse Education Center for leading our tour today.